Hello, welcome to another video on why comic books are so addictive. I haven't done a video on this topic in quite some time, and since I took out this price guide in another video, I figure it's a good time to talk about this book. Since I obtained this book, it has been a lot of fun to go through this book and step back in time in order to see what the hobby was like in 1970. First off, as you can see, the price is $5, and $5 seemed to be a lot of money. I did some quick research to find out what is $5 in 1970, and the minimum wage in 1970 was $1.45. Okay, so give or take, let's leave the issues of tax aside. If you work three and a half hours or so, that's about what it takes to earn enough to buy this book if you had minimum wage. So is that expensive or cheap relatively? I whipped out this book. This is 1982, okay, and the price tag is $9.95, and the minimum wage back in 1982 was $3.35, I think. So basically you have to work 3 hours in order to buy this book. So give or take, it's very close, so it's not a huge change in comparative prices, but certainly you get a lot more for your buck with the latest issue, with all the pictures and the ads, right? I mean, we all love to thumb through these or price guide for the ads themselves, but you get a lot more in here compared to this black and white book. So in that sense, it is kind of pricey, and unlike the newer version of the book, in this first price guide, understandably there are very few ads. There are literally something like 12 pages of ads in the entire book, okay? And when I talk about 12 pages, often it's just one ad for the whole page. So we can only guess that not that many dealers, stores, local comic store is that interest in advertise yet in this book. Perhaps they don't know if this book is gonna caught on. No doubt comic lists and prices exist well before this, okay? This is just the typical it's more like a universal list of prices, but I have seen many lists of back issues with prices on them that go back to the mid 60s to late 60s. But the one thing that I noticed about going through this book is that being the first issue, it's fairly trying to find the right word for it. I wouldn't say it's fairly simple in that there aren't that much description in here. Okay, sure, for some of the books you will see, like Action 1 would be the origin and first appearance of Superman. Same thing with Detective 27. You see that as far as the description, but other than that, most of the time you will see typical, as you can see, a very typical page would be just issues number and price. Okay, you don't see a lot of notes on first appearances, or for sure the artists or writers, none of that kind of information. So it's fairly simple, crude, but you know, no doubt, I'm sure it was welcome for many. And as far as prices wise, I look at all the major keys as far as golden age is concerned. You know, I don't even bother checking that many of the silver age. The most expensive book, the top two, was not a surprise. It was Action 1 and Detective 27, from what I can gather as far as going through this entire book. Action 1, the most valuable comic book at that time, was $300. And Detective 27 was $275. And then there's a whole bunch of other Golden Age books that was worth a lot of money, such as Wiz, the first Shazam, Captain Marvel, that was up there, as well as Marvel Comics #1. But no doubt Superman #1 was really high up there too. Superman #1 was like $250. So it's not that much cheaper than Action #1 as far as value. What's neat about looking through all of these old price guide is seeing the evolution of grading. You know, if you look at the first price guide on the second page, okay, so it gives you an idea of the importance of grading already, you know, as far as, you know, what's was considered important. On the second page of the guide, just look at this. As you can see, the grading was pretty crude also, and it evolved fairly quickly. As you can see, there are poor, and then there's fair, good, very good, fine, and then mint. Okay, it jumped from fine to mint. And the definition of very good is tight cover, some signs of wear, minor markings, but none that deface the cover. I'm guessing that is some writing on the covers or stamps. Some discoloration, but not soil. So no stain. It can be dirty, but not stained. And then slight professionally apply magic tape repair on spine only. So if you have a spine split, a little tape repair, it's okay. But as you can see, as you can see, the grading was, you know, all over the place, because, you know, for many of the description, it would fit more in the fine range, except for the tape at the spine area. So, you know, and then if you look at the fine definition of what is fine: slight wear or discoloration on edge only, on the edge only, otherwise perfect. So what does that mean? No creases whatsoever, just slight wears and discoloration on the edge. So like rounded corners. Read once or twice and store away. That's it. That's the definition of fine. Okay. So as you can see, it is quite interesting to see how the grading system as we know it today evolved over the many years. And, you know, if you look at just 1974, this is number 4, you notice that just 4 years later, the grading system has already changed, because now you have, as you can see, near mint. There's still not a very fine range yet, but now near mint is introduced. They're all starting to differentiate more and more, and of course, now we have the 10-point scale system. But before I go, there's something in this old price guide that after I read it, I thought it was extremely extremely interesting. That's about the best way I can say it. It's the words that was used back in 1970 still fit today. Okay, I will read it to you. Comics of early vintage are extremely expensive. If they are purchased through a regular dealer or collector, and unless you have unlimited funds to invest in your hobby, you will find it necessary to restrict your collecting in certain ways. Every enthusiast defines his collection in a different manner. Some collect only runs of certain titles. Others collect only selected issues which carry special stories or work by a favorite artist. Many collect only incomplete runs of their favorite titles, concentrating on certain periods. However, you define your collection. You should be careful to set your goals well within your means. Words of wisdom even in 1970. I can't say enough on how much I agree with that paragraph. It is true. You define your collection. Your love of this hobby, your love of your collection is only can be determined by you. It's I read that paragraph a couple of times and it brought a smile to my face because I'm glad that even in 1970 there are people out there that recognize what is important about this hobby. It's very much an individual thing. Anyhow, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.